What does objectivity mean? Which standards cover principle to maintain objectivity? How can Chief Audit Executive support the objectivity? What are some examples of biases? What is prejudice or unconscious bias? Try to get answers to these questions when we are covering this standard and the second section of the domain 2. So this is my 7th video on the global internal audit standards, the new standards by the Institute of Internal Auditors. We have covered the domain 1 and the principle 1, demonstrate integrity, which was covering 3 standards. Now we are on the principle 2 of domain 2. Domain 2 is ethics and professionalism, and the principle 2 is maintain objectivity. And today we are covering the standard 2.1, individual objectivity. So let's recap a little bit about the principle 2, maintain objectivity, and what is its requirement. So internal auditors maintain an impartial and unbiased attitude when performing internal audit services and making decisions. So what does objectivity mean? Objectivity is an unbiased mental attitude that allows internal auditors to make professional judgments, fulfill their responsibilities, and achieve the purpose of internal auditing without compromise. So which standards cover principle 2, maintain objectivity? Their standards are standard 2.1, which is individual objectivity. We are covering now standard 2.2, safeguarding objectivity, and 2.3 is disclosing impairments to objectivity. So let's see what are the basic requirements of the standard 2.1, individual objectivity. Internal auditors must maintain professional objectivity when performing all aspects of internal audit services. Professional objectivity requires internal auditors to apply an impartial and unbiased mindset and make judgments based on balanced assessment of all relevant circumstances. So you need to consider the whole environment and understand the circumstances and make your decisions, again eliminating all the biases from your decision. So internal auditors must be aware of and manage potential biases. So how Chief Audit Executive can support the objectivity? So if I concise it, it is by the standards, by policies, and by training. So the global internal audit standards, along with the policies established and training arranged by the Chief Audit Executive, support objectivity by providing requirements, procedures, and guidance that set forth a systematic and disciplined approach for gathering and evaluating information to provide a balanced assessment of the activity under review. Training may help internal auditors to better understand objectivity impairing scenarios and how best to address them. So as per consideration of implementation of standard 2.1, individual objectivity, making objective assessments requires an impartial mindset free from bias and undue influence, which is essential to providing objective assurance and advice to the board and the senior management. Internal auditors should develop awareness of the way in which situations, activities, and relationships may affect their ability to be objective. And internal auditors should consider the human tendency to misinterpret information or make assumptions or mistakes. This is by having perceptions or by some misguidance from someone. So these situations may impair the ability to evaluate the information and evidence objectively. This is a very interesting topic, and we can keep exploring ourselves that how we can judge and what type of scenarios we can expect and that can happen to us, and how sometimes auditor can miss those scenarios. There are a few examples I'm sharing with you here. Self-review bias, the lack of critical perspective when they're reviewing one's own work, which may lead to overlooking mistakes or shortcomings. This can happen with all of us. For example, if we are appearing in a paper and we have like last 30 minutes and we have the ability to recheck our own paper, very few people go and recheck that critically. Normally they flip the pages and just go through it very quickly and find out very less or no mistakes at all. So that is called a self review bias. Then when you have an understanding that I have done everything perfectly. Then familiarity bias also is there. We're making assumptions based on the past experiences, which may compromise professional skepticism. Like I've seen this area already. I've come here a couple of times. I know what is happening, but again, you need to start afresh. Keep your understanding in a way that you might find out something, some situations which may have arose subsequently after your last visit, or maybe you have not covered or able to catch something in the last visit. So that also you need to understand. So to eliminate familiarity bias, you need to have that mindset. Then prejudice or unconscious bias. So misinterpretation of information based on predisposed ideas about culture, ethnicity, gender, ideology, race, or other characters which cause inaccurate judgment. This can happen with everyone or anyone. So we need to understand these scenarios and step back and think again that are we thinking in the right direction. Hopefully nothing is affecting us or our concepts and our conclusions. Nothing similar to this is affecting us. So these scenarios we need to be aware of. What is the evidence of conformance? References in the Internal Audit Charter to the Internal Audit's responsibility for maintaining objectivity, policies and procedures related to objectivity, records of planned and completed objectivity training, including list of participants, attestation forms that confirm internal auditor's awareness of objectivity's importance and the obligation to disclose any potential impairments, documented disclosures of potential conflict of interest or other impairments to objectivity, and last but not the least is the notes from supervisory reviews and mentoring of internal auditors. So these are few examples. You might have more documentation to substantiate that how you are taking care of your individual objectivity, some training documents, something else. So what again, you can keep a lot of evidence of conformance, and this is not an all exclusive list. So let's go through an example relevant to this. So you are in an organization where there is a general perception about security personnel that they are unfit. And these security personnel are provided by third party. So taking that general perception, an auditor reviews this security report, which is mentioned here, and that reports that all, and the auditor reports that all 239 personnel are unfit. So what auditor missed here? So this is a classic example of unconscious bias. If you see the way security report is prepared, it is having a table above and table down there. So if you will read number 4, security personnel, and if you read the heading on the top, which is saying the unfit column, the fourth column I'm talking about, and under it there are 212 the security personnel. So on what basis, what he read, I'm sure that it is about all these security personnel are unfit. Actually it is about authorized and present. So the second table heading is a bit different, which is saying that there are 239 authorized personnel and the present is 212. And similarly, the conclusion should be based on the reading the report and understanding the report properly, rather than having a bias and reading the first heading of unfit and making a report and concluding that, oh, there are more, everybody is unfit in this fleet which is being shared with us. So thank you so much for your time. Go through this part 7 again. Build your understanding on the global internal audit standards, and my videos hopefully will help you in getting that strong understanding on the standards. So thank you so much. Keep liking, share my videos, and subscribe the channel.